All right. Hey, everybody. I am here with William Calix. Hey, William.
Hello.
Thanks for
Hi.
coming on. So William is with, he
Mhm.
has his own brokerage called Calix Realty out of
Yeah.
Tijuana, Mexico. And you focus mainly on commercial. I know you do some residential, but today we're going to talk about commercial real estate and kind of what we think is next for the buildings. Because I mean, you have a lot of empty buildings now, like we do, right?
Yeah. Exactly. It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same. So what do you think is what do you think is going to happen?
What is going to happen? Well, I have seen many owners that, are actually worried because the kind of business that they are doing right now is not the same.
Hmm.
Well, in the past, prior the pandemic, prior COVID, people were leasing the offices for a
Right.
long period of time, right?
Yeah, like 3 or 5 or 10 years, something
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Right now, they have to change focus and they have to get used to lease the buildings for 1 hour, just one
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
And that's the change they have to change that perspective. And
I'm
that's the
seeing too, they have to also provide services for those tenants, like
exactly.
making them more, yeah, like a co-working space. So I agree. I think
Yeah.
we'll see a lot more co-working spaces. You will still have people though, I think, that want dedicated space, just not so big, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's going to be like many big companies that will still have big offices, right?
Right.
Because, for example, call centers and things like that, that they
Right.
will use big spaces. But for the most of the commercial real estate sector, it will be small buildings, just one office or just one computer or just
Yeah.
one, meeting.
Right,
Uh,
like one conference room or one
yeah,
meeting room or
conference
whatever,
room.
and
Yeah,
that's it. Do
that's it.
you do you think too we'll also see the offices that need big spaces maybe only do like a 1 year lease instead of like a 3 or a 5? Or do you think they'll still do 3 and 5 years?
I think that it's still going to be those kind of contracts,
Okay.
but they are not going to be so regular like before, right?
Yeah.
And those are going to be the big changes.
Well,
Actually, it has happened to me that some of the owners that I have worked with, they have lost some of the tenants that they had, and those tenants has changed they tried to change the contract by saying, you
yeah.
know what, I know that the contract is still 1 year long, but I want to change it and I want to reduce the amount of people that we will have on the building, and the
Mm-hmm.
other one will go just one day or 2 days. If not, I will decide to resign the contract.
Right.
So it's like
What
it's
do
like
you
a big,
do? Yeah.
yeah. So but it's okay. It's okay because uh, the the tenant yes, the tenants has a better disposition, right? They
Yeah.
are, yeah. Well, it's great if you do that for them, and that's the future.
And then yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody has to be flexible. What do you think about, I mean, that makes sense for like office spaces, but what about like malls or like other big buildings that are not set up for something like that? What do you think is going to happen to them?
Well, I don't know in the US, in the US how it is, but back here in Tijuana, when it comes to malls and big buildings, um, Mexican people are uh, well, we like to be in open spaces. We like to meet each other.
Okay.
It's
It's
we
more
are
friendly.
yeah, we're very friendly.
Hmm.
So we thought that after the pandemic it will change, but that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
I mean, people is still going to malls.
Yeah.
Local spaces are still leasing. You know, people is going because we like we like meetings, we like parties, we like to be with other people. We like to go to open spaces, and in our case, it hasn't changed, and it
Yeah,
won't
that
change.
is one difference in the culture that's different, right? So
Yeah.
like for us, like our malls are basically dying. Like nobody goes to like a mall really. But yeah, over around the rest of the world, like malls are a big thing and a lot of people like them
Yeah,
and they're huge, like huge. That's
totally agree with you.
yeah.
Totally agree.
Do you have any other predictions for commercial real estate? Do you think a lot of commercial agents are going to also start learning residential, or do you think it'll stay separated?
Yeah, well, I think that the agents that were very focused on office spaces
Yeah,
has to change totally their
yeah,
perspective,
yeah,
because it's not going to be a business for them to get leads or get prospects or clients that will just lease 1 hour or 1 day or 1 week,
right,
1 month. It's not
right.
going to be a business.
Unless
So
maybe they do like property management also. Like
yeah,
if
that's
they are the manager of that building, that could be like a way that they change. But I would think like hotels, like here in our city, we have a lot of hotels that are like vacant and
yeah.
they're like knocking them down. But I would think in Tijuana, hotel business is good. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the hotel business has been hit by the pandemic too, because
Well, sure, because nobody was traveling, but now
yeah,
people will.
but now people will. Well, the hotel sector is like getting better. We don't
Yeah,
know what's going to be the end on that sector, because there are also some companies, some hotels, some businesses that are dying too.
sure.
But it's not clear. It's not clear if that's going to be the end of or it will suffer a big change.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the other side, the office spaces, they are suffering a big change, and they
right.
have to adapt to the new normality.
But I was actually thinking like there many of the hotels and stuff may end up doing kind of like a timeshare model where
Oh
you're
yeah,
just so it's like the same thing as co-working, but it's like
yeah,
co-living. And
yeah.
maybe
That's
there's
it.
an opportunity to have those hotels be co-working and co-living for people because they know how to run a hotel. They're a hotel business. So they're more conducive to being able to do that model, I would think. But maybe instead of like by the night, it's by the month or by the week or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, it's going to be a market for that, but at the same time, you have a lot of. I mean, the hotel business is very related with tourists, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's mean that if I don't have like the data to say how much of it is people that live for a long time in a place, or just tourists that come from 1 day or 2 days.
Right.
Um, it will be interesting
But I
to see.
think people have learned that they can actually do their work other places. So I think that they won't leave now for like a week. It'll be like a month. Like people will be
It'll,
gone longer because they can work. And honestly, like I've done that before and it's like better because then you can, if you're at a place for like a month or 3 months, you can like get to know the culture. It's like a
yeah,
lot better. You can take your time, you can work, you can make friends. Like it's just so much more fulfilling, I guess,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think you are right, and I also think that from that point of view, you can even have both, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
you can.
a hotel that is like a co-living, but at the same time is a co-working. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So that could be a good change. It's an interesting change. Maybe maybe some of the business could take that position, right?
Yeah, they could do both. I think that would be pretty cool, where they're like a hotel, maybe certain floors are like the hotel
Yeah.
floors, because some of the buildings are really big, right? So
Yes.
like,
Yes.
yeah, so certain floors are hotel floors, certain floors are like the office and retail or something like that. And then the others are more like midterm stays.
Yeah. Yeah. Spaces will always be on demand, but not in the same way as
Yeah,
before.
right.
That's the thing.
I think it's really interesting to think about how we live now compared to how we lived 2 years ago. It's crazy, right? How fast things can change.
Yes, yes. Actually, our relationship with technology has increased a lot
Yeah,
for many people, right?
yeah, it is. Well,
That's awesome.
I really appreciate you being on. Is there anything that you're working on or any projects or anything that you want to share with us, or you want to tell us how we can get a hold of you?
Yes, well, right now there are two sectors here in Tijuana that are booming a lot. One of those sectors is the industrial facilities, and the other
Mhm.
one is the tourism.
Yeah.
Here in Tijuana, well, we have a big bank, land, and we are developing many buildings. So, but we now are looking for developers.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that we are campaigning on. And the other sector is the villagers. We have a lot of villagers, and there is a booming too in that sector too. And we have land that actually is what we have: land for villagers and restaurants, and at the same time we have lands for industrial facilities.
That's good
So
because we don't have land, so we'll just come and do, we'll come and
yeah.
take that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the what would I say? Well, the strength of this place is that we have two big ports, right? And at the same time, we are next to California, so
Yeah,
there are a lot of goods coming from China, and we are a big market too. Well, Mexico is a big market too, and we can make business with the US through
right,
California too.
easily. Are
Yeah, so
there
the
people,
location is very good.
are there
Mhm.
people that have both, like, are able to sell real estate in both Mexico and California?
Yeah, well, actually, I have a client from the US. He leased an industrial facility,
Hmm.
okay, and his business is bringing things from China,
Okay,
okay, and they bring things from China to Mexico, because if they do it through Los Angeles, so they pay like kind of an arancel or something,
okay.
is a tax. So they bring it to Tijuana, and then they transport it to through the border, right? And
Oh,
they
yeah,
do kind of a change, because it's a raw material, and
yeah.
then do they like ensemble. I don't know how you say that, and then
And then they assemble it in Mexico and then they take it
yeah,
over to the
exactly,
US. It
exactly. And
saves,
so
it sounds like it saves taxes. Yeah,
yeah, they save taxes, and they are, well, there are a lot of things that they can do, and
that's
that's one of the
interesting.
things. Yeah.
That is crazy. I mean, maybe we'll have to talk on another video about kind of like the world economy and what will happen to that, because I think that's like an interesting topic
Yeah, yeah,
too.
totally agree. Totally agree. Well, actually, I believe that this fight, this commercial fight that is taking place between China and the US, is making China taking different different approaches, different strategies in order
Yeah,
to still be being
the number one producer
the
of our
number one
stuff.
producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are doing it through Mexico. And Mexico is doing business with the U.S. Well. things are changing right now, and there are a lot of things very interesting now.
Yeah, it's an exciting and scary time to be alive, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, if people are visiting Tijuana or they have questions looking to maybe potentially invest there or buy something there or have questions for you, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, they can contact me through my email, which is wcalix, just like my name,
Okay.
wcalix64@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll put it to in the notes on the page too. So wcalix64@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for being on, William. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Bye.